pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll do a roll call.
Mr. Paulson,
Here.
Mr. Smonik,
Here.
Ms. Gillespie,
Here.
Mr. Gibbon,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Hammer, we're here too. Want me to call a roll call on the hired help? Okay. They have to show up,
Half here.
all members present.
We have approval of the meeting agenda. Is there a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same? All carried. We'll start with our budget report.
As you can see, before you, I think you have the budget sheet in front of you. Not a lot in expenditures right now. Kind of getting kind of early here. I know Russ has been doing repairs, modifications, some of the equipment out there. And I think the one thing the one thing he's had so far is he's done some equipment upgrades, some software stuff for, I believe it was a Ranger and stuff. But again, we had that as a budgeted item. So, I don't know, there's not a whole lot on there right now, like I said, it's pretty early. Any questions on it, or?
The chemicals the bids have all been accepted and,
Yes, we went to bid with, all of our supply bids, chemicals, mid or something, late February, and those have all been awarded.
yeah.
Maybe it was early February, and prices were up a little bit, but everything is up. But you know, when we're starting to pinpoint more of where we're spraying and the product we're using, I mean, you're using less product, so hence saving some money that way, even though costs are going up. But
Okay.
we won't be ordering any chemical until probably September or something, August maybe. Usually we have 2 orders that we'll place out there in the year. So usually it's later in the year, you know, but buying product for the following year is what we do, so.
Right.
But, well, hopefully we'll be able to get it for next year, so. Any other questions? None? All right,
Okay.
thank you.
We'll go to the spray report. Russ?
Yeah, I haven't done any spraying yet. Things are starting to come. With talking the chemical, I've been trying to cut back, do more spot spraying like Terry said, but with last year, the hot and everything getting through, gonna have to see what I run into this year. My intent was to solid spray everything, get caught back up. Spring will decide what goes on. If we get hot and dry again, then I'm gonna strictly stay with spot spraying, cause hot and dry, the chemical don't work, it ain't no good putting it out there. So we'll kinda see, but I'm trying to trim it back, and if you got a good clean ditch and stuff, I'm getting my maps more updated, learning. If they mow it and keep it clean, don't dump $35, $40 an acre chemical on it, not needed. I still gotta do shoulders, and that's part of the way I set trucks up. Set always 30 foot, I can cut back to 11 and do just a bad shoulder. Trying to hold back on the chemical. Other than that, that's pretty much the way things are gonna go for spraying. Townships, I gotta get a letter out to them. Ask anybody that wants me to spray, I'll probably get the usual 6 again. But I send a letter out to all of them, just kinda remind them these are the weeds, go after them, and they've been doing pretty good. There's a couple of them that have some issues, but That's pretty much all I got for spray report, unless you guys got questions.
Do you plan on spraying some of these trees in the fence line too this year, or?
Yes, that's, when I go with the Ranger, I've actually put a tank on each one that, no matter what, when the Ranger's out, you spray trees too. I got some areas I'm working on. And then, when you get to a fence line, you gotta be a little bit cautious right of way where it exactly is. If it's right in the fence, it's gotta be on my side. I don't dare spray onto somebody else's. But I've got some areas that, yeah, I'm going after them hard. And last year, man, the little trees came like mad in a lot of places. And the chemical I use on them, it's better than cutting them off because they don't come back. But it takes a while for them to die off, but you can get rid of them. I've cleaned up a couple places.
You're still using that, what was that spray that you,
Garlon is what it is.
Garland?
Yeah, I use the generic called Element 4.
Right.
And that's what it's used, or one of its uses is for brush control. It works pretty good. Takes a while for it to get rid of it, but when it got hot and dry, then it don't work because the plant's not taking nothing in. But yeah, I got a map that them days when it's too windy to spray, then I run around and try and go hit them. But yeah, right on the fence line, you gotta be a little bit cautious there, the right of way, because if the tree's on their side or our side, and if it's iffy, then I'll leave it, but we're working on them.
That element works pretty good.
Yeah,
I use some of that and it works.
yep. Well, it's long acting and it gets in and goes down to the roots and kills it off, you know. You can use Roundup, you burn the leaves off, and then the roots come back. So you gotta use the right chemical in the right place. And it works on trees we cut down too, if you put it on the outside of them. But you gotta do it within an hour of cutting them or it don't work.
I got a question for you about the township spraying. I see there was, I don't know, one or two townships that are advertising to have their township sprayed. Do you bid on that or?
No, when they come to me, I send a letter out, if you want the county to spray, you gotta let us know. But I haven't chased anybody down particularly if they got a bid out or anything. If you know, let me know which two they are, I can talk to them.
Well, I don't know. I seen the notice in the paper. Is what I seen.
Yeah, but I don't go out actively looking for it, but it's the usual 6 we get.
Okay.
Don't you have a sign-up deal for that? You used to have that here,
Our annual meeting used to be at the Pizza Ranch, invite the public and that, and we don't do that anymore.
okay.
So now I do it by letter. And like I said, I get the usual 6 that call, and there is one I'll probably call personally because they have a lot of Canadians, which areas have that. That's. Any other questions on spraying?
Yeah, when I spray a lot around in pastures, and currently I spray around 4 or 5 different acreages. And if they ever approach me, would you be a good reference for me to tell them about you or?
When it comes to acreages and stuff, the only time I wanna go chasing that if they got a bad noxious weed problem. Otherwise, we could get into, you find out, we only do it at cost, so it's not competitive. And you could end up with hundreds and hundreds to go spray. So if somebody's got a weed problem, then I would get involved if they didn't have a way to do it, but I try not to get into the private sector with it. I do have a couple of names that I've referred them to, and everybody that's used them has been happy with them, so.
I was talking to one individual and they couldn't even get some of the weed spray in stores or anything like that. So-
Yeah, and if somebody gets in a jam, then I'll help them, but gotta be cautious I don't get into too much what I'd call private spraying. You know, try and stay with just county, township. If somebody's got a bad problem that I've been chasing them with a letter and that, then I'm an option for them. But I try to work it that way. And if you run into somebody, they're short, they can't get chemical, can't get access or something, and they've got a noxious weed, then yeah, give them my name and I'll go see if I can't help or spot spray part of that for them. And yeah, they do get billed for it, but
Yeah,
I try to stay out of the private sector as much as I can.
okay.
Any other spraying questions? Equipment's next. This winter I took my 2 pickups, pulled the spray platforms out and totally disassembled them complete. And yeah, there's some rust and stuff repaired and fixed and got them all put back together, trying to get ahead of things rotting out from underneath because chemical eats everything. So I took the tanks off. There was nothing together and I cleaned them all up, repaired the rust and put them back together and hopefully they should be good. On those 2 trucks, they're running flow meters from the 90s and they still work, but I'm expecting one of these days they might go. But they're $600 a piece, so I'm not just gonna go buy one until one fails, but. Rangers, they're in good shape. Terry said, we're putting software on. Right now with the trucks, when I spray, there's a map that draws a line, says I was here. And I didn't have that on the Rangers, so we budgeted to where I'm putting that on my Rangers now. So if I'm spraying anywhere, I've got a map I can go back to, says I was here, I wasn't here. It's, it's a protection for me if somebody says there's drift, or it's, yeah, I did drift. So every piece of equipment I'll have mapping on this year when I get going. Other than that, equipment's in good shape till I break something. And I do break things.
Can you get the repairs pretty readily if you do break something, or?
Yeah, generally I fix most everything on. There isn't much I can't fix on one of them.
Okay.
It's like when we got the new Ranger and they wanted $400 for the push bumper on it. No, I went and made my own because I have tubing bender and welder and all that. I made my own and it cost $40 versus $400, so. And the older one had transmission issues, so I took the transmission apart and rebuilt that 2 years ago. But yeah, I try and fix everything myself before you go out when they're getting $150, $200 an hour labor in a shop. And I am very mechanical, so I can fix just about everything.
Thank you for doing that.
I'm Norwegian, so I'm tight. I'll pinch a penny till it craps a dime, so. Equipment trouble spots. The people I had issues with last year are ones that I had, not a fight, but I will get letters out to them again this year. I do that every spring, anybody that problem areas. But I'm gonna wait a little bit. I've been sent them early before and I think it gets too early and they forget. So I'll probably wait another month here before I send them out. When things start greening up, about the time they do their first mowing and stuff. And get letters sent out and remind them you're on my list. I watch you for 3-4 years before I take you off my list, so. And that's pretty much where I'm at for what we're doing. Any questions on anything we're doing at all?
Your new software on the Ranger, what was that again?
It's called Snap Mapper is what I put on my Rangers. I have Spray Logger on the trucks and Snap Mapper. I went with that on the Rangers because I don't need the flow meter to count gallons in that, because that's not adjustable like my trucks. I speed up, slow down, the truck adjusts. Well, on the Rangers, that one simply, you turn the switch on, it starts mapping where you're at. Doesn't count gallons, and I don't need it to count gallons because that's. And then I had to build my own electronic board for it because there's technically 4 pumps on my Ranger. So that would count all 4 pumps, no matter which one runs, it'll map or put a pin. If I spot spray, it puts a pin. If I spray more than a second, then it draws a line.
Okay.
And you use that just because you use it to mark trouble spots and stuff like that?
I use it to go back, like, in the winter, I'll go back through my maps. I know certain roads that are bad, and I can tell you to the fence post where bad spots are. With the pickup, I'm spraying bigger area, but with a Ranger, you know, I'm spray a spot the size of this podium. And then now I can go back on my maps, and when the kid that, or I shouldn't say kid, he's as old as I am, the guy helps me, I can give him that map when you go out to spray. Now, when you get here, look for this, look for that, you know, so I'm trying to get the chemical where the weeds are, not everywhere, just trying to broadcast catch it. There's two sides to that coin, though. You get too much spot spraying, it can get away from you and you get real dirty. So it's kind of in my mind about a 3-year rotation. Every third year, solid spray the road to catch up. And the other 2 years, just try and spot spray. You know, it's like spot spray in a pasture. You can go out and hit a few thistles, and about 3 years in, they're starting to get away. You need to spray the whole thing. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. It works and it don't work, but trying to get down on the amount of chemical used other than just broadcast everything and put it where we need it. Any other questions? Good enough. Thanks.
Do we have any old business to discuss? If not, we'll go to new business. One of the things on there is we need to elect new officers. So we'll open that up for chairman. Probably time for a new one.
That's up to you.
No?
Rotate it around a little bit.
Was Roger, were you second in line there?
Excuse me?
Were you second in line there?
It doesn't really matter to me.
I nominate Roger.
Okay, we got Roger nominated. Is there a second to that nomination?
Second it.
Okay. Can we do just all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Roger's the new chairman. Do we need to do a secretary or anything?
Yep, go through all of them.
Is there a nomination for secretary?
I ain't saying a damn word.
Would you take it again?
Yeah. Sure, I think he will.
Sure you will.
You will?
I'll nominate Ralph if no one else will. Ralph Hammer.
And I'll second that.
Okay. We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
We don't have a vice chairman.
Vice, yeah.
Do we do a vice chairman too? Okay.
Chairman, vice chairman, and secretary, treasurer, I think it's 3. Do you need a vice?
Okay. Any nominations for vice chairman?
Jim?
Hey. Whatever.
I nominate Jim.
Okay. We need a second for that?
I'll go ahead and second that.
All right. All in favor of Jim being vice chairman? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. So we have our election done. We have any other announcements?
Next meeting, you should pick when
Yes,
June what?
pick someday in June.
someday in June.
Oh, okay.
Gotta pick it. I don't have a June.
Day work better or worse for all of you?
This probably works better for me, the third Thursday of the month. But hey, I'll make anything work.
Third Thursday?
Third Thursday of what month?
June.
June.
June?
16th,
That'd be June 16th then.
8:30? Good with the time at 8:30?
Yeah, I can get up that early.
Did he say 8:30?
8:30, yeah.
That was 13th,
16th.
16th. Do we have any other business to take care of? Is there a motion to adjourn then?
I'll move to adjourn.
Got a motion or a second?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.